Good morning and welcome to Broward Teen News.
We're here at Cooper City High School to take a look at how social media is impacting our lives.
Stay tuned to see a very unique form of yoga
and a fascinating look at a beautiful city. I'm Brecken.
And I'm Rebecca, and Broward Teen News starts now. Social media is a major source of entertainment and very common among teens.
Well, sometimes it can lead to issues and affect people in the wrong way.
I know a lot of people who have struggled with social media. Let's see how it impacts our students.
We post, we follow, we like, and we subscribe. The alternate reality of social media is an open door for temporary fame and attention, without regard to the possible detriments it can have on young girls, leaving them susceptible to body shaming, developing eating disorders, or even suicide.
I mean, you always hear stories of girls who have eating disorders because of certain beauty influencers, or you see suicides all the time.
With this comes the story of Leah Marie Johnson, a girl placed in the spotlight at a young age, becoming an online sensation but soon becoming victim to the harsh realities of what social media has to offer. Recently, Leah has made headlines about her new, worrying content. Social media not only affects young female celebrities, but to put it in a more local perspective, social media has also affected girls throughout Cooper City High.
It's kind of sad to me when my friends just walk up to me and they're like, "Oh, I barely ate today. I feel so skinny." That just kind of breaks my heart, and I feel I want to let people know you don't have to live up to that standard of being skinny. And obviously everyone has their own battles and everyone has their own tribulations in life, but I feel social media definitely doesn't portray positive effects.
Young girls can overcome the pressures of online life, so stop comparing yourself. Stop thinking you're not enough, and most importantly, you are your own unique self.
And for CTV News, this has been The Girls.
Everyone has their own obstacles that they have to overcome.
Yeah, no matter how big or small.
Josh got the chance to sit down with one person making the most out of their uncommon situation.
I'm Bob Woodruff. I'm 20 years old. I was born blind. I'm also autistic. And I have a very positive outlook on life because, well, that's just who I am.
Why do people refer to you as Dr. Bob?
Well, that's the name given to me by my science teacher in high school, because my name's Robert, but a nickname for that is Bob. So this was the first day of high school, freshman year, and I walked into science class and I said, "Hello there, my name is Bob." And the teacher said, "Well, okay, how about we call you Dr. Bob?" And the rest is history.
So would you say you try and maintain a positive outlook on life because that's what matters?
Absolutely. It's always good to be happy and positive. You know, life is too short to be frustrated about something for a long period of time, or to be stressed out about something for a long period of time. You know, there is always going to be something good that's going to happen to you. Just wait and see.
So, if you don't mind me asking, could you describe your condition?
So I have a rare eye condition. It's called bilateral microphthalmia, and in some cases there are no eyes at all. I'm on one of only 10 cases in the world.
How do you not let blindness affect your everyday life?
Well, blindness does have an effect on me in everyday life. For example, I can't watch TV, I can't see a movie, or I can't look at somebody's face. But that doesn't change my perspective on, if I was to look at somebody versus talking to them. I get more out of talking to somebody than looking at them. And it helps me to get a better understanding of who this person is, where they came from, why they're here. So it really helps me to get to know a person more than just simply looking at them. That's one way to look at it.
So for other people with disabilities or who have troubles that affect them in their everyday life, what words of wisdom do you have to offer?
Don't let your disability define who you are. You are your own person. It doesn't matter if you're blind or deaf or wheelchair bound or whatever, because you're still a human, just like me and just like the rest of us.
You know, I think I really want to pick up art.
Really?
Okay, maybe not, but let's see how one inspirational artist has followed his passion through thick and thin.
Last Sunday, in Wynwood, Miami, an art gallery took place at Scooter Steve's to celebrate the works of Marcus Suarez, a world-renowned artist whose portfolio includes brands like Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and Tanked.
Which featured the guy's business, 702
Well,
Motor.
Marcus is one of the greatest human beings you'll ever meet in your life. He'll give you the shirt off of his back. He's a true artist who doesn't care about money. I would get him a job, he would make 20 grand, he'd come home and say, you have $20? And I'd say, where's the 20 grand? And he'd say, I gave it to bums. So that's a true artist.
Through his success, Marcus Suarez has unfortunately experienced many hardships in his life, including 8 strokes and a kidney transplant.
My biggest stroke was my 8th stroke, and I lost my whole right side to the stroke, and I'm right-handed, so I was very depressed, thinking I would never paint again.
Even with such a discouraging situation, Marcus has continued to persevere and continue to live out his dreams.
I'm just happy that I'm painting again. God afforded me the chance to paint again, and painting is my life. It always has been, and that's all I know. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm not where I want to be, but I think I will get there.
With such a hopeful outlook, Marcus has continued to inspire those around him. For CTV News, this has been Robert Hidalgo.
There's so much talent around South Florida.
I know. Let's take a look at one individual with a true passion.
Music has been a huge part of my life. It's actually my whole life. When I was little, I would always sing to myself. And when I was about 6 or 7, I was singing at this Walmart, just singing to myself. And this woman came up to me and she says, "Do you take voice lessons?" And I said, "No." And then she recommended going to Broadway Kids Studio. I got into making music, I think, 8th grade, and then it got to the point where I started writing my new musicals. It was called My Elijah. And the summer before junior year, I wrote the first song to the show, and I ended up getting to perform it in front of people. Kind of shaped what I wanted to do for a living, which is be a Broadway composer, but also a Broadway performer. And so after that night, my parents actually sent a video to my sister, who's in college right now, and she then texted me saying, "Hey, how many songs from the show do you have finished?" And I said, 1 or 2. And she asked me, "Can you write 2 or 3 more, and I can use it for my senior thesis?" And I said, "Of course." I didn't have music at all. I probably wouldn't be the person I am today. It's definitely made me feel like I'm a smart person, because I always thought that you were only intelligent if you were good at math, were good at reading, or science. And music has helped me, made me realize that I am gifted and I am actually a smart person. Because honestly, I think without music, the world wouldn't be what it is today.
What'd you do last Friday?
You know, the usual, hang out, watch TV with friends.
Well, Isabella got the chance to experience something unlike a typical Friday.
What's your typical Friday night? For performers at Lips Drag Dining, dancing, lip singing, and comedy are all part of their typical Friday night.
Performing has always been my passion ever since I was a kid, so I enjoy performing. Putting on the hair and the makeup and everything gives me the glow, and get out there and smile and enjoy the people.
Underneath all the hair and makeup lies a true passion for the art of performance, as well as revealing a path towards acceptance.
We get judged, but it's how you respect yourself. Life is too short, so you should enjoy every minute of your life and not be afraid to be who you want to be and do what you want to do. I'm trans woman and I'm an entertainer. So what motivates me is just being able to see people that you didn't think would accept you come in and they leave with a smile. I am a serious motivating type of person. I work with a youth group down at this place called Compass. It's the LGBT kids. A lot of the kids don't have support. We just try to give them something to look forward to in life. Showing these kids that they don't have to be unhappy because somebody don't accept them for who they are. It's keeping kids from committing suicide, basically.
With late nights and bright lights, these powerful performers push through it all, keeping not only themselves, but others seriously motivated. For CTV News, this has been Isabella Marcone.
Here at Cooper, we aren't the only ones diving into some unique experiences.
Let's send it over to Courtney from American Heritage Plantation, who did yoga in an interesting way.
Thanks, guys. When most people think of fans, their minds usually go towards sports and not yoga enthusiasts. But here at the Downward Goat, yoga fans are taking this relaxing activity to the next level.
The main difference between this class and a typical class in a yoga studio is that today we practice yoga with goats. And the real reason and benefit of that is more of the therapeutic nature.
The goats just bring a lot of happiness and joy, really. I mean, I've done like yoga before and it was really stressful, but the goats really it's like a distraction. There's more like fun energy going around. You don't feel as stressed. You kind of just get to play with goats a little bit instead of like focusing so much on like how stressful this is on your body. I'm definitely a fan of goat yoga.
This is by far probably one of my favorite ways to practice yoga. I just think that the therapeutic aspect of it is just so helpful and beneficial for anyone. I'm definitely a huge fan of the goat yoga.
South Florida residents are huge fans of the Downward Goat yoga class, where you can get a good stretch and play with some adorable goats like this one. Reporting for WHS News, I'm Courtney Medwin, Plantation, Florida.
Yoga isn't the only activity that can help us escape stress.
But you can't beat goats.
You aren't wrong. But Kayla got the chance to meet a young boy whose journey in sports has brought him over 3,000 miles in search of a better life.
At times, the comfort of living the American lifestyle can completely blind those of the hardships that other people face daily. But amidst the struggles, one young boy has come to America with one particular dream in mind.
Life in Venezuela was like it was sometimes difficult. It wasn't as bad as it is now, but like now it's really bad, so we moved here.
In America, he lives a new life, but the hardships he faced are not easy to forget.
The most difficult part was we couldn't find as much food in the stores because like the president was very bad, so like when you went to look for something in the grocery store, like you couldn't find cheese or very basic things. Because like when you would be walking down the streets and like you would get robbed. I was walking down the street with my grandma once and she got robbed. Like we were just walking and somebody just comes up to you and robs you.
As he warms up to this country, he also warms up for something else, the sport that he values most.
I have adjusted to life here by just making friends and being me. Playing soccer makes me feel free. I would hope to play it for the rest of my life.
And while everyone's idea of the American dream is different, he sure does have an idea of what he wants his to be.
I think I am living the American dream because like I'm fulfilling my dream. I'm just like striving to play soccer every day and like I'm happy here with my family and stuff.
So, for Jean-Paul, soccer is way more than just your everyday sport. And for CTV News, this has been Kayla Kissel.
Coming up, we'll take a look at whether video games are really a sport.
But we'll be right back after these announcements. Take a second to look around. What do you see? Water bottles, coffee cups, straws? Every day we use and dispose of plastic items without giving it a second thought. Do you ever take that extra second to choose to recycle your plastic waste instead of throwing it subconsciously into the trash or the street? Statistics show that 79% of our plastic waste ends up in a landfill, with another 10% ending up in our oceans. Only an average of 9% of plastic is properly recycled. If we continue on this path without taking our planet into consideration, garbage will pile up, landfills will increase, greenhouse gas will increase, fossil fuels disappear sooner, and natural resources diminish. At this rate, we're slowly killing the wildlife in our ecosystem. And why? Because we can't take the time to properly get rid of plastic? So tell me, is saving 5 seconds of your time worth destroying our planet?
A rack focus is when you change the focus of your lens onto another object during a shot. It's great for putting a spotlight onto what you want your audience to see and emphasizing a shift of attention. Now I'm going to show you how it's done. Now that we have our shot set up and our two subjects are ready, we can now execute the rack focus. To shift between subjects, you could turn the focus ring left or right, or on newer cameras, you could tap the touchscreen to pull focus. Remember to practice filming it a few times so you can get it right. That's all for today. I hope you make great use of this compositional technique. Good luck, videographers.
Imagine being exposed to harassment, bullying, discrimination, and racist comments daily. Luckily, we have internet censorship to protect people from the problem.
We were raised to speak our minds, stand up for what we believe in, and be ourselves.
How much can we truly say what's on our mind without fear of censorship?
There is an 82% wage gap between men and women, something that will take over 100 years to fix. But this is just one local example of censorship. Don't you want to make your voice heard, or is it too late?
It's always important to try new things.
That's right, and Kayla got the chance to visit one team that's certainly going above and beyond.
In the world of competitive cheerleading, Florida Triple Threat is a force to be reckoned with. And here, cheerleaders of all levels and skills not only bring on the heat, but they also bring on new challenges.
I love trying new stunts. It gets very dangerous at times, but it's very fun to see the final outcome, how we can toss girls and make them stand on top of our hands.
I try new things a lot. Trying things helps me overcome fears, and it also helps me learn how to do things, and that can help me getting me on higher levels. I push myself through this because I know I have to do this. I'm never going to get stronger and get better if I never try.
And when they put all the hard work, new assets, and skills together, they lay it all out in the line for the routine they've got prepared.
I push myself through cheer because I know no matter what, one day it's all going to be worth it. We work very hard just for a 2-minute and 30-second routine, and that is the final result that we all look forward to as coaches, as athletes, just to be happy about what we put on the floor after training so hard all year long.
As some would say, you'll never know what will happen if you don't try. And these cheerleader spirits really do fly high. And for CTV News, this has been Kayla Kissel.
Wow, those cheerleaders work extremely hard.
That's right, but they aren't the only ones. Our first responders work every day to make sure they can keep us safe.
Let's take a look.
So my position here with Broward Sheriff's Office is a firefighter paramedic. I'm a probationary employee. So I'm at the 10-month mark with BSO. I'll be off probation April 2020. We also do anything from medical calls to fire calls to water rescue calls. I can't sit behind a desk all day on a 9 to 5. It's just like I would be anxious, you know. Before you even get to start applying for these jobs, you go through almost a 2.5-year extensive training. We have to all go through EMT school. You're always put under like very stressful conditions. You see what you did wrong and what you didn't. And when you come out here and actually hit the streets, I feel like you stay composed under a lot of scenes. There is a form of heroism within us. We take an oath to serve our community and to run towards danger when everybody's running away from it. So therefore, I do think there's a form of heroism, but us personally, we don't look at it that way. We just look at it as our normal job duties, day in, day out of the fire station.
Technology is on the rise and taking control of many of our everyday activities.
Let's take a look at a short film about how technology really isn't our friend.
Hey Siri, play music. Hey Siri, text Lucas.
What do you want to say?
You want to come over?
Your message to Emily Aaron says, do you want to come over? Ready to send it?
No.
Okay, it's sent. Just yet.
No.
what the issue is. It was 2 months since we broke up, and now all of a sudden you're trying to bring me back into your life? Like, I don't understand.
Okay, so while we're on the topic of technology, I have to ask, are video games a sport?
That's a good question. Let's see what Teddy from American Heritage thinks about this recent debate.
Is video gaming a sport? No. Well, kinda, but it isn't that simple. With the 2020 Tokyo Olympics adding a whole host of new sports to the roster, video games have come into question. Traditionally, a sport is defined as an activity that you do for pleasure with the need of physical effort or skill. With video games only burning 60 calories an hour, it definitely doesn't require physical effort. But if you've ever played a video game, what it does require is skill, proving to improve coordination, concentration, problem-solving skills, and the ability to multitask. In 2019, the International Olympics Committee formally recognized chess as a competitive sport, and when comparing the reasoning with video games, the difference is hardly noticeable. Both are competitive and extremely popular, with many esport events held around the world, with millions of dollars in prizes, hundreds of thousands in viewers, and competitors from all over the world. Many tournaments have viewerships that compete with major sports like tennis, baseball, basketball, and could even come to rival the Super Bowl. So while we're not going to be seeing video games this year, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the 2024 Olympics. Signing off for WHS News, I'm Teddy.
Here in South Florida, there are many ways for anyone to achieve their goals.
Imani went into Fort Lauderdale to give us some history on this very important city.
Hey, you see that river? It's got a lot more history than you think. In the 1400s, when the Spanish conquistadors were exploring South Florida, this river was one of the first waterways to be charted for the New World, or, well, now America. What was it used for? Irrigation, farming, but most importantly, this river provided opportunities for new settlers looking for better dreams. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and around me is the foundation for what soon became many people's hopes and dreams. I'm Imani, and I'm going to take you on an all-access tour to this historical city. We now know that the New River was one of the first waterways to be charted for the New World. But did you know that the New River Inn was the first hotel in Fort Lauderdale? Built by Edwin T. King, the New River Inn was hosting guests from 1905 to 1955, but with only 24 rooms. Now, if you looked over here, then you see the Florida East Coast Railway. Developed by Henry Flagler, this railway goes from Jacksonville to the east coast of Miami. While every day South Florida was receiving new settlers, a few of these settlers were Frank and Ivy Shanahan. Here, they were looking for a fresh start. Behind me is their home, where Frank and Ivy Shanahan dedicated their lives to passing their dreams on to others, especially Seminole children. Evidently being leaders in their community, Frank and Ivy Shanahan left their mark on Fort Lauderdale. Now you know that even some of the most modern cities have a little bit of history. For CTV Extra, this has been Imani Armand.
Thank you for tuning in to this Cooper City edition of Broward Teen News.
Be sure to visit the Beacon website for more episodes.
Have a great day.